So I went to see the movie Twisters. Spoiler alert, save your money. This movie starts off with a girl who apparently has a superpower, and her superpower is that she's the only one that can see tornadoes. I mean, that's not actually true, but that's basically how it goes. She can see a tornado forming up the way anyone would see a tornado forming up. But no one around her ever knows if it's a tornado unless if they have to look at her and ask to verify. Also in this movie, that when a tornado is on the ground moving, they have to ask her which direction it's going to go. And spoiler alert, in every scene but one, the tornado always goes straight. Anytime there's a scene where there's like non-main characters in it, they have to explain to them what a tornado is as if it's a public service announcement. And they have to explain to them what to do in the event of a tornado. Like, no one knows what a tornado is. In certain scenes, they had to explain to people that there's a tornado coming, and the people were like, oh no, I own a business, I have to work, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, it doesn't matter, we're all gonna die. And they have to convince people, and then they have to tell them step by step what to do. Like, perfectly. Like in one scene, they're having an argument with someone in a hotel, and spoiler alert again, the hotel doesn't have a basement in spite of looking for it. And we've already decided that hiding under an overpass is bad. So one dude decides to take his life into his own hands. He jumps in a vehicle and drives directly into the tornado. Like, could have gone in any direction, literally, and chose to drive himself straight into the tornado. Well, she decides it's a better idea to run outside and drag everyone with her. And they hide in a swimming pool. Like, an empty swimming pool. And not only that, they got really creative, I guess, and they had this little dig out pocket thing in the swimming pool that doesn't actually exist in real life or really anywhere ever. Blah, blah, blah. And somehow it was so creative. But the best part of this scene was all the characters are facing out, watching the tornado, and she is the only one with her back to it. And they watch this thing go up into the sky, and then they have to look at her and say, is it gone? And she has to stop cowering in fear to turn around, squint at the sky, while everyone squints at her, and she's like, yeah, it's gone now. And I got to thinking, it's hard to write a character that has superpowers where they're the only ones that can see a tornado or even which direction it's going in. And then I realized, wait, no, that's not true. One of the love interests, because there's two, he is the same as her. He's like the male version of her. And in all the parts where he has to tell people like which way the tornado is going or what's about to happen, it was super well done. Like he was like a real actor, let's just say. Like it always came off very good. But whenever they're together, he would lose his superpower and he couldn't tell. He has to look at her now. But when they're apart, his superpower of being able to see tornadoes and which direction they're going, chef's kiss, man. So I thought it was very strange. They have a love interest, and one dude she really liked, she didn't know at the time, but he worked for a guy, imagine that, who made money. His boss made money off of him. And essentially what would happen is his boss would pay him to research tornadoes, and he would get a list of addresses that have been hit by tornadoes. Probably easier ways to figure that one out, but whatever. So he would give him this list of addresses, and this man's boss would come in and buy these properties that had been hit by tornadoes that were underinsured, that were businesses that were crappy to begin with, and he would offer him money. And she's like, oh, that's evil. I'm like, I don't know, let's think about this. You had a business that's probably worth $1 million at one point. It was underinsured. You're going to get about 200 grand from the insurance. It was already a piece of crap to begin with. And now a man is offering you $400,000 for your property. You walk away with $600,000 on a business that was failing. I don't know, man. Kind of sounds like the best case scenario to me, but like whatever. But the other guy who's basically just like her, now he's a scumbag because everywhere he goes, he sells t-shirts. But what she didn't know was that he takes a very small portion of the money and he buys food and he gives it to literally anyone. And now he's the greatest guy in the world. Also the new love interest. And so it was just really shocking to me. I'm like, I don't understand this point. Like, I don't get it. Meanwhile, later on, there's another tornado. And this is the only tornado that changes directions. And I'm not talking like it made a 90-degree turn. This tornado went from like here to like here. And this tornado had been going for miles. Like this tornado is not like a secret, okay? It's not like the world doesn't know there's a tornado in this area. And it's basically heading in that direction. Well, after a long time of chasing this tornado, there's a little league kids game of baseball going on. And there's a girl playing, and like off in the distance, not even that far, let's be real, there's a tornado coming. And no one knows about it. And then this little girl at bat, she goes, tornado. And everyone goes, ah! And now they've got to run, and no one knows what to do, and everyone's panicking, and no one knows what a tornado is or what to do in the event of a tornado. So all the heroes, they corral them in to a movie theater, and they're like, we got to find the basement. Meanwhile, the main character decides to stand in a doorway and have like a mean mugging staring contest with this tornado, like giving it the Care Bear stare, like ready to throw hands with it. And everybody's trying to leave the movie theater and they're looking for the basement. So like after like a 5-minute scene of searching for a basement in a movie theater, they ask one of the employees, probably one of the first things you should do, I would think. But whatever, we're going to ask an employee after we've told everyone what to do in the event of a tornado, where's the basement? And she has to say, this building was built over 100 years ago. It doesn't have a basement. Well, freaking movie theater has a basement whenever it was built. Anyways, this woman can't take it anymore. She's done giving the Care Bear stare. She's gave the tornado its warning, and she's going to go out and she's going to throw hands with it. Or just get in a car and drive directly into it. She's got to stop this tornado. She's got to save these people. Because you know what? Earlier in the movie, when a place got hit with a tornado, she had to do all these side quests, which included finding a family's picture album, and her boyfriend had to find a cat. I didn't really understand that scene. It doesn't matter. So she goes to fight this tornado hand to hand, and she flies into it or drives into it and releases the stuff, and it got rid of the tornado. But it's made even more confusing because her boyfriend earlier in the show got rid of a tornado by shooting bottle rockets in it. It turned the tornado into a giant LGBT display, and apparently it wasn't about it because it was like out of there in like 2 seconds. It was like, shoot, you're going to shoot bottle rockets where? No, thank you. Tornado gone. Like, we know how to end tornadoes now, and apparently it's like Chinese bottle rockets. But we're trying to figure out new ways, I guess, I don't know, more environmentally friendly or something at this point. I don't even freaking know. The movie was so convoluted, I really freaking have no idea what I watched.